guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of G&A Podcast with your host, Ryuuou and
Soberoni.
Yes, and we are back again with a very, very intense week of anime.
Oh yeah, this was, I think, the best week so far in the new season. Lots of great shows, great episodes.
I mean, it's only
Stupendous, huge.
But yeah, I feel like this episode or our podcast is going to be filled with a lot of opinions.
I feel like all those opinions are going to all belong to Drew because I enjoyed thoroughly pretty much every show this week. Well, maybe one exception. We'll see.
Yes, we shall. Let's get right into it. Starting with Violet Evergarden, episode 3.
My episode of the week.
I'm surprised yet not surprised.
I'm just so happy this show's finally picking up after the first episode. I will say, obviously, I wasn't the biggest fan of the first episode, but this episode was the best one so far, in my opinion, because it gave so much context to the world that they're in. I told you I wanted them to go in more in detail about the war part of it, and like seeing soldiers being reintegrated into society. And then you have new characters, which I hope. What was her name? Lucudia, yes. I hope she remains, I hope she's not a one-off character. I hope she's, there for the long run. Something tells me she's not. But I liked her. I liked her interactions. I loved Violet this episode, more so than any other episode. She felt more relatable.
There's only 3 episodes.
Listen, it's a 14-episode series, all right? What do you want me to...
They're like, now this is becoming a great... I'm like, it's episode 3.
Listen, I'm judging it. What do you want me to say? There's only 3 episodes in, so I can't say anything about it. Guys, fuck this show. No. It was great.
Yeah, I liked it. It just... Visually, for me, it's so nice. Like, so and beautiful. I don't that sunset roof scene when they were on the roof during the sunset. It was just so beautiful. I know I literally just said the same thing twice, but it was just so beautiful to watch. And Luculia's problem, her whole story was just so heartbreaking.
I'm glad they didn't go for I was. When we were watching it, I told you in the beginning, it was like, oh my god, she's gonna die. I'm glad they didn't go for the obvious...
I don't know why you would think she would get killed.
I thought either she would die or her brother would die, or something. Especially when he was getting beaten up. I'm like,
yeah,
he's gonna die. He's gonna die. Yeah. I'm glad they didn't go for the obvious, forced tear-jerking moment. Like, oh, she's dead.
Yeah.
All the flags.
Yeah, no. I think that was good. They gave all the flags, but yeah, they didn't follow through.
And it was still a very satisfying arc for their characters.
Yes. It was a satisfying arc, and it was an arc that helped Violet grow as a person and as a doll.
And I think it's not even really a complaint, it's just a funny moment in the episode to me that kind of seemed weird, but kind of makes sense when Violet does write the letter for her. And it's like one sentence. It's just like, thanks, I'm glad you're alive. And they're like, oh, that's it, she learned a lesson. Violet, you graduate from all you needed to do was write thank you on your card.
Yeah, I was like, teacher, I think I was like, yeah, she may be getting the point, but I don't think she's quite there.
Yeah. Your school's super easy, ma'am. But I kind of get it, because that would have been really weird if she suddenly went from not being able to relate any feelings to suddenly writing writing a Hallmark card or something. So it makes sense within the context. It was just a little tiny bit. Let her graduate with just that, though.
Wow, for someone who's not complaining about it, it sounds like you're complaining about it.
If that's the biggest complaint I have about the episode, then it's a fucking fantastic episode.
But yeah, I really did like the alcoholic brother. Like, his whole plot. Like, a very relatable thing of a veteran coming back from war. Just in time for his parents to be dead. Yeah.
And there's this whole thing with the other characters around them being developed too. Like, the whole episode was basically just Violet and the other two, but you also got a bit of development from the main cast in the form of the blonde-haired kid and the other woman, the black-haired girl. I keep forgetting their names.
I keep forgetting their names too.
They're gone for one episode. I'm like, well, I forgot all their names. But yeah, they're having their little squabbles back and forth was another. It wasn't an important part of the episode. It was just kind of like thrown in there. But I think it was a cute part, and it gave them a lot of more development. And I'm finding her particularly to be more interesting now, as opposed to before, where I was kind of like, who cares? She's just there.
Who, the black-haired woman? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, I like it a lot. You're giving them lots of it's those little things that give like life to a series, where it's not just like, oh, this is a drama where drama's happening. Yeah. drama.
Speaking of which, giving life to a series, there was another show that KyoAni did. I don't know if everybody remembers it because it's really forgettable, but it was Hyoka, which is pretty much the setup premise for this, in that it was just super, super nice looking. It's like one of the best looking anime ever. It fucking looked phenomenal, just like this show does. But the problem with that show is it was boring as fuck and didn't lead anywhere. It was just like, look how pretty the show is. It's so pretty. We have no characters or anything, but it's so pretty. This show, on the other hand, I'm glad to see KyoAni learned its lesson. It was like, yeah, this show is super, super pretty. And we also have good characters and a plot that goes somewhere. So I'm glad to see all that. You know, it's not just a pretty face. It's also got a good body of content.
If you know what I mean.
And of course, the I don't know, just overall, I'm really liking the show now. It's growing on me. Growing on me.
Very strong episode. Very good.
And I want to say, if you guys like this type of episode, it reminds me a lot of this other show, this other anime, Tagami Bachi, or Letter B, which is pretty much the same premise. It's about a delivery guy who delivers letters to people, and he has to go on journeys like across mountains and shit to deliver one letter from one person to another person. And it pretty much is the same premise as this episode, where it's like, oh, it's touching. Every episode is like a touching one-off story about a guy who was in war writing a letter to his son or something like that. And it had a lot of moments in that show that were just like this episode. Super touching, super underrated show. Maybe I'll do a video on it. So if you like this episode of Violet Evergarden, I suggest you check out Tagami Bachi.
And with that, we are going to move on to Overlord II, Episode 3.
The lizard fight.
Yeah. So at least we know how Ainz is kind of involved in all of it. It seems that he is the one who's actually starting the fight.
What a M. Night Shyamalan twist we have.
Very much so. I'm like, wait, what?
I'm glad they finally gave context to that. I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, but it seems...
explains a lot.
And it also seems like Ainz doesn't even want, he wants lizard people to win. I feel like it's gonna be, the M. Night Shyamalan twist where he's like, oh, I did this all so they can all be united under one. Mm-hmm. But I'm doing that for a specific reason, too, because they need to be reunited in order for this to happen.
God, Ainz is so fucking smart. I love him. But yeah, he's intentionally handicapping Cocytus into giving the other team a chance, or giving the lizard people a chance to win. Which is a nice touch. Which somebody mentioned in the comments before in the last episode. I forget your name. I'm sorry, but you mentioned in the comments like this is interesting because Ainz and all of Nazarick are super fucking OP. So you can't really have a direct confrontation between Ainz or any of his generals or floor commanders and anyone else in the story, because like the lowest level made of his Nazarick would probably be stronger than the strongest fucking warrior in all the land. So this is a really indirect way of not making it about power levels, where it's like, oh, now Ainz has to fight somebody more OP, and then he gets even more OP, and now they're OP. Instead of doing all of that, like Sword Art Online does, they go in the different direction of saying, well, he's OP, but he still has to navigate like the geopolitical landscape of these different kingdoms, and test out the land and test out his generals. So I think that's a very compelling way to tell the story without it having to be, he's super OP and now he's getting a more even OP power up to fight this other OP guy.
Yeah, they're just gonna kill and take over the entire world. Yeah, the end.
No, there's a lot more nuance than that, which I really do appreciate. Very, very good storytelling.
I would say so. Although, like, there's not much to say about this episode. Not saying that's a bad thing. It's like all that literally happened was like just a giant fight between Ainz's forces led by Cocytus and the lizard people. Yeah. It was a good fight. I would say decent amount of action.
Yeah, it had a good amount of action, which the show... Well, was it last episode that had the fight between the two lizard people? I mean...
No.
It was this episode.
That was also this episode.
Oh, well then, yeah. This episode filled in...
lots of action.
Yeah, it filled in a lack of action that was in the first 2 episodes. So, yeah, we got a big... It made up for that.
Yeah, although I feel bad for, like, the giant horse snake.
Oh, yeah, he was so loyal and...
Yeah, he was just like... He was
like, I'll sacrifice my body for you.
He literally said, thanks, horse snake, and then just wants to fight. Like, that's all you have to say? It fucking died for you, you awful human being.
Oh, and I still love that they keep the whole MMO feel to the fight. Like, they were casting lightning bolt and chanting his weapons and shit like that. Like, I love the way that it still feels like an RPG, even though, I mean... Unlike Sword Art Online, where it just feels like fucking, I don't know, standard shonen fare. But this actually had the air of, like, you know, if you're playing a strategic RPG or something. Cure, they specify between middle cure and high cure and different levels of elemental magic.
Yeah, no, it was a very good episode. Yeah. I'm glad that Overlord. I wrote down Overload. And I'm just like,
we were overloaded with great content from this episode.
Yes. That's clearly what I meant when I wrote down the title wrong.
Alright. So, another great episode. Looking forward to next week. Let's move into yet another surprise great episode.
Great episode.
From Cardcaptor Sakura, Clear Hen, episode 4.
Yes.
Got some foreshadowing and shit in this episode.
Oh, yeah. First of all, shout out to Toya for being best brother. I think Toya may be literally top 5 brothers in anime.
He's an interesting character.
He's so underrated. I think at first he was just like very one-dimensional. They were just like, oh, he's just the one who kind of just pisses off Sakura all the time by just being, like, the obnoxiously taller, older one. And being like, oh, I'm picking on my little sister. But later on in the series, he gets, like, really good. And, like, no, they hint a lot more about his involvement and everything. And his relationship with Yuki. And I don't know. I just like it. Like, you know, I don't know. I won't say. I was gonna say he's almost a tsundere for his sister. It's just, I think it's just like he's just like the pushy big brother. Like he's like that with everyone. Mm-hmm. But he's still like good to his sister. That's why I like. He's still a very good older brother. That's why I like him.
He's good. I also had appreciation for Tomoyo, of course, being the best girl in the series. Just, I don't know, I like her so much because she is me. She is literally me. She just wants to put all these cute costumes on Sakura and film her all day long. So, I can relate to that. And we actually had a really decent fight scene too this time around. I'm glad the action is picking up and it wasn't just like that fucking Siege episode 2.
That was so bad.
That was a horrible example of how to do it. But this one, we got a good, compelling fight. Yeah,
it was a good card, like a good card power. You know, it's weird that sometimes I rate the episode, or not sometimes, all the time I rate the episode and like what they do for the card. But it's a new card this time.
Well, yeah, I feel like that's part of it. Like how creatively done are the cards and the powers.
Exactly. Considering this is a whole new series after like 70 plus episodes.
Mm-hmm. They couldn't just reuse the same fucking things over and over again.
Yeah, they were getting away with Gale and Aqua, but
I'm sure fire is gonna pop up again, Earth or whatever. Yeah. Like the basic staples. But yeah, Siege is cool, action is cool.
Yes. That's the name of the card from this week. Action.
I thought it was going to be animated.
It should have been animated. Okay, not the best name, but, you know, I won't...
Get points for creativity.
Exactly. I won't pick and choose. This new girl, she's definitely involved somehow.
Yeah, we went like 5 minutes into talking about the episode and not even mentioning there's a new character that takes up about 90% of the episode.
Her name is Shinomoto. She's very similar to Sakura in a lot of ways.
Even her name.
Yeah. Because Sakura's name is Kinomoto.
Yeah, she's Shinomoto?
Yeah, she's Shinomoto.
Yeah. She's a world traveler.
World traveler has been fucking everywhere. They live like 5 fucking countries.
Her interests include being fucking rich and traveling the globe at the age of 12 or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, alright.
But the important part is she's from Hong Kong, which of course is important.
No, I know. She came from Hong Kong.
Well, yeah, she was in Hong Kong.
She was in Hong Kong. Yeah. When she moved to Japan.
Which means, obviously, some relation to Clow in some way, or Lee, or something.
But even they don't know her.
Yeah, but usually whenever somebody's like, I'm from Hong Kong, or something, or I'm just visiting from Hong Kong, it's like a red flag.
Usually happens. I mean, Eddie isn't from Hong Kong. So. Yeah. He's from London.
Fair enough. London and Hong Kong. And she's from both of those places, so she's doubly suspicious.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But speaking of Lee and Ariel, they are actually in cahoots with each other about something. They have a phone call, a secretive phone call, where they know what's going on with Sakura, but they're just, like, not saying anything. Because, you know, that always ends up...
Lee's spying on Sakura, basically.
Yeah.
For, like... Which is kind of fucked up. I'm kind of curious where this is going to go. Because obviously he knows something he's not telling Sakura. Yeah. And he's just kind of... And I was wondering why his character seems so mute. And, like, he hasn't done much.
Yeah, he just really
he's just kind of shy and, like, just here, you know, whatever, in the background.
No. I wouldn't say shy. Like I said, I would say shifty.
Yeah, shifty, I guess. But he hasn't been involved. He's been observant. He's been observant through the whole time.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing I'm not liking. I wish he would be in the fights, at least, like he used to.
Yeah, like, I actually want to see him and Sakura together more often. Mm. And not just in a romantic context, but, like, actually working together more often.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of makes it weird that she's always reporting to him, like, oh yeah, and I caught a I caught a clear card, and yada yada yada. And he's like, okay, Ariel, this is what she did.
Yeah. And he clearly doesn't feel right about it. Though they did have a really cute moment where...
Oh my god, the phone call.
The phone call was so adorable. Oh. Fucking Sakura is so precious.
She is. Oh my god, we really should make it a game where every time she makes that noise, we drink.
Oh, and then we're just drunk.
Yeah. We just die.
Just die halfway through the episode. No, she had a bunch of cute moments this episode, like always. She is one of the most adorable, lovable characters in history. I have never met a person who hates Sakura. And I bet now everyone in the comments is going to be like, fuck Sakura.
And if you're for all those people who say that, you can all go fuck yourselves instead. And with that, we're going to move on to Citrus, which is actually my episode of the week.
Oh, wow. This must be good then. You said you had something to say about this episode.
I have so many things to say. Let's just go over general, like, impressions about the show before I go into my little thing.
It was a good episode. This was a good episode.
It was such a good episode. The best friend, she really makes her mark.
What was her name? Is it Momoko? No, it's not Momoko.
It's Momo.
I'm calling her Momo.
I just call her Momo.
Yeah, I'm calling her Momo. Momo, I think we're gonna have different opinions on. I think Momo is pretty cute, and also I like her character because she's pretty aggressive. She's very aggressive and assertive, and I just like what she adds to the overarching plot and characters. I don't know. I don't hate her. Like, this is the difference between this and Kuzuno Honkai. I don't hate her for being conniving and manipulative, because I feel like she's just seizing a chance versus, I don't know, cucking Yuzu or something. But this was basically the cuck episode, so.
Yeah, this is literally like 2018. We're cucking females now.
This was the NTR episode.
We're cucking females, so all you guys and lesbians, you just, I don't know, find those lesbians to cuck, assuming you're straight.
This was the also, fun fact, this episode had the first consensual kiss.
Yeah, the first consensual
episode 4, and we get the first consensual romantic touching and kissing of the series.
Yeah.
Which was quickly followed by
immediate sexual
molestation.
Assault. Yeah. Where Momo steps up and she's like, well, it's my turn to assault May.
Gotta put this series back in the wrong direction, guys.
God, why is everyone just sexually assault May? Even though May also definitely sexual assaulted, like... Also,
Momo was very, like... Momo was very... She was super seductive and... What's the word for it? Like, she knew where to target May. Like, she started nibbling on her ear and shit. Like, she knew May's weak spots. Mm-hmm. I think she even comments on him, like, oh, you're still weak in the ears.
Yeah. So, shout out to her for knowing her weak spot. How does... I guess that brings up the question, how does she even know? Yeah,
I was wondering that, too. I'm like, is this, like, a repeat occurrence?
Yeah. Damn it. I feel like May definitely may have...
I was going to say May is so different now than when she was a child because we got to see how upbeat she was. But, I mean, if I was getting sexually assaulted by everyone around me, I'd be pretty depressed. Like, my sister, my best friend, potentially my dad. Damn.
Oh, God. Yeah, it was nice when she wasn't a total bitch when she was smaller.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, so I guess I'll just get into why I have feelings about Mo. I have feelings about Mo because Mo reminds me a lot of myself. I think when I was younger, I was very territorial about my close friends, including Soberoni.
Thank you for not taking it to Momo's levels.
You're welcome. Yeah. See, and that's when I disagree. See, and that's me. That's why I had the problem.
Thank you for not nibbling on my
because. Because while I'm very territorial with my friends, and I'm just all like, no new friends. Like, yeah, even your last, not your last girl. I think your first girlfriend that I knew of when we were friends. I was like, fuck is this fucking bitch?
Yeah, her.
She's literally just fucking pretty. Like, there's nothing good about her. Yeah.
Are you the reason why she broke up with me so suddenly?
No comment to this. But yeah, it's like I hate her because I understand her so well. That's why it's my episode of the week, because I know her. I have been her. I'm just like, no new friends. They all belong to me. What are you trying to move in on my territory? Like, back the fuck up. Like, in high school, everyone knew that Sorny was essentially mine, and anyone who tried didn't last too long.
This review is getting awfully personal.
The whole episode's interest, maybe that's when it became personal. Damn it. So it's like, I understand how she feels with that territory. I understand how it feels to be threatened by someone as charismatic as Yuzu, because I wasn't exactly brimming with charisma in high school or anything like that. I was very more like on the Momo side of things. So seeing someone like Yuzu come out of nowhere and be all like, oh yeah, I'm sharing secrets with May behind your back. I know she didn't say that, but that's all what Momo heard.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I would hear. So, like, I get it. I totally understand. Oh, man. I wish I had the balls to be as manipulative as Momo.
That's why I like her, though. I like her assertiveness mixed with her manipulativeness and just, like, I don't know, like, she strikes me as a more realistic character for that reason, without being a total bitch. Because I don't think she's a total bitch. I think she's like, nope, this is my chance. It's now or never. Yeah. So time to make my moves.
Yeah, and I love how she was like. I love how even though she's all saying like, oh, everything I've been doing, I'm gonna protect her. I'm gonna like do everything for her. It's like her words say one thing. Mm-hmm. But her actions literally say the complete opposite.
Oh, yeah, she's kind of selfish.
Like, the moment she started like doing everything, I was like, nah, yeah, you're just doing this for yourself at this point. And I love it because that's usually how, obsession is a thing, or obsession with your friends. Like, I don't know, you feel like you think you're doing it for their sake, and then you're just
doing it for yourself.
Exactly. So
this was a pretty fantastic episode. Very relatable.
It was so good. I feel like, I know we called I know why we called Ryuuou. Oh God.
Ryuuou Oshigoto.
Yes, Ryuuou Oshigoto. I don't know was I high when I was writing?
It's because you had a different notebook. Your fucking penmanship just went all over the place.
I know, right? I was like Ryuuou. But anyways, I know we said that was like the new Blendess, but like. And I know this isn't exactly Blendess. It's definitely not like Blendess.
No, it's not at all.
But in my mind, I was comparing it to it only because like it's literally every episode is very like solid. Like this is a show like I want to wake up and eat my Saturday morning breakfast to. This is a show I want to eat. I just want to eat or enjoy myself. Like I know I'm gonna have a good time watching this episode.
Yeah, I usually want something more. Like less plot driven when I'm watching something Saturday morning.
I know, but this is like I know there's like so many good characters and like Yuzu, she's so good at not being too heavy. Like she can be heavy, but she's never like it's never too much.
Yeah, I feel like this show is good proportions. It doesn't go too heavy in one direction or the other. Like it never feels too silly. Like it's a stupid silliness.
Yeah, like this
or too dramatic.
This is easily like I don't know for guys who are watching this who have girlfriends. This is easily like you guys are looking for something to watch with your girlfriend. This is easily something you can watch with just like an ice cream. You guys can cuddle up, and I don't know. You guys can citrus and chill.
Girlfriend might think you're a little weird for watching it, but you know what? It's still
because lesbians. But
yeah, why are you watching a show about lesbian sisters?
But we're really like look at all the drama. She's like, ooh, drama, and that's how you win.
Yes, smooth moves, guys. That's why you watch this podcast.
Exactly. We are helping you form everlasting, loving relationships with your girlfriends. You're welcome.
Okay, now with that said, let's move on to our next tangent over in Ryuuou no Oshigoto, episode 3.
Okay, we're gonna say that little piece for last, but so it's Ai's examination matches, and basically her first match beats her friend. Second match, she goes against the manager and beats him too.
No, to be fair,
I mean, he had a handicap.
Yeah, he was handicapped.
But I was just like, all right. And then the last opponent, but out of nowhere, the super mega tsundere sister bitch,
yeah,
Sora is like, I wanted to beat you down. It's my turn. Ugh.
Yeah, and I loved the one thing I really loved about this episode is how they did the shogi matches very intensely. Like you just see Ai sweating, and then you see Sora just like smashing the pieces on the. It felt very much like Saki. It was very Saki like, where it was just like overly dramatic, tile slamming. Fucking Ai at one point I just starts hyperventilating like I'm dying. I'm dying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh god, her rate's growing up. That's too much for her.
She's gonna die. Get a medic. But and then the best part of the episode though was the father, because he was me watching this episode. He said everything I wanted to say. Well, actually the father and the mother, because they were watching this not knowing what the fuck is going on, and they like represent the viewer in that situation.
Yeah.
Because the father was every 5 minutes the father was like, is she winning? How do we know who's winning? What's going on?
What's happening?
Why is she fighting a professional? What's going on? And I'm like, damn, he's asking all the questions I'm asking right now. And then at one point the mother's like, why is she hyperventilating? They're just playing shogi. And then they give like a scientific reasoning for it. But you know what? We don't need scientific reasoning for it. It was just fun to watch.
Actually, even though Sora is a super mega bitch, but I liked Sora in this match because she literally was just like, I like the effect that she gave to Ai. Because like you said, like, oh, slamming and da-da-da. Sora didn't know that. Sora's just like, oh. And then I was like,
I liked it because
she was like, oh.
Yeah, because Sora, I feel like everyone else was there with the trying to make Ai look good, and Sora was like, fuck that, I'm gonna put her in her place before she gets a big head. And even then Sora was kind of just like, fuck, I should have beaten her even more efficiently than what I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we learned how good Sora was, didn't we? How high-ranking of a professional she is, even though she's female.
All right. It looks like we're
going there.
Oh, wait. Before we go there. Also, I love even after, like, we thought the husband like kind of trying to like help and like remedy the situation.
Mm-hmm.
The mom's like, okay, but if she isn't like a title holder, you have to marry into our family.
Oh yeah, the best part of that was selling off your daughter to marry this dude. But whatever.
Yeah, and then Nelson's like, oh, isn't that a bit? And she's like, shut your fucking mouth. And he's like, oh, sorry. My God, he's not even like pussy whipped. He's just whipped.
Yeah, he's just plain whipped.
But yes, let's get into extreme sexism 101. So basically how apparently it works. How there's a huge difference between male professional shogi players and female professional shogi players. Men, they have to achieve a certain rank. I think it was like fourth dan.
Yeah, like there's 2 leagues, and then you have to be in the promotional league and achieve 4th dan
to be considered a pro. For a woman, you don't have to go to second league. You have to just go halfway
into the first one, the training league.
Yes, in order to debut as a professional player. Why? I have no fucking idea. What the fuck is going? How does that even make any sense?
By the way, this isn't a complaint about the show. I think this is just a complaint about shogi system in general.
Yes. No, the show's great. I love the show. Watch it. But what the fuck is going on? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know who should I be more offended for, like men or women. Like, on one hand, men have to literally work twice as hard to go into 2 separate ranks just so they can become a pro. I mean, as Silverny pointed out earlier when we were talking about before, they probably get paid more as a result.
Yeah.
But and then on the other hand, it's like, my God, like, that's so insulting to a woman. Like, really? Their criteria is so much less.
You know how to assemble the board. Congratulations, you're a pro.
Whoa,
you're some kind of pro or something.
You know what the pieces are called. Amazing.
Oh.
Oh my God, how offensive.
It's super offensive. It was, even for me, I was kind of like, damn, that's kind of fucked up.
I was very taken aback.
I wanted to look it up in chess, too, if it was the same thing for, like, American chess, if there's, like, different standards for what constitutes a female professional versus a male professional.
I hope not.
I didn't get far enough into my research, because I was like, this is not really relevant to the show.
Japan, get your shit together, okay?
Before we move on, one thing I do want to point out is, this show did a good job, especially this episode, of indirect fan service, which I should probably do a whole video on. Where there was to the average viewer watching the show, I don't think there was any fan service moments, but for someone like me, it was chock full of fan service. Just pointing that out. Like, you didn't observe any fan service, did you, Drew?
I mean, like, what do you think?
There was tons of fan service for the fan service connoisseur. It just wasn't overt in any way, shape, or form. Like, an average person wouldn't have noticed it. So, I love when shows do that.
I guess
it's very low-key fan service.
Guess not, yeah. For all you tryhards who want to look up fan service and shit, well, you know where to go.
Yes, you do. So, I was going to try to segue into G&AREVIEWS, but it doesn't even deserve that, so fuck it. Let's talk about G&AREVIEWS 2, Episode 3. This was, again, we're having differing opinions on this because...
My head hurts. I need some water.
Every week this goes back and forth between us.
My head hurts.
I loved this episode of G&AREVIEWS. It was so stupid and irrelevant to anything that was going on, but it was enjoyable.
It was trash! It was fucking trash! What the fuck? Like, oh my God, this episode was so pointless! Whoa! I was like, I literally was just like, when the episode ended, I was like, the episode's done, but nothing happened. It literally felt like we watched an elonged version of like the last. It felt like the 5 minutes all over again because nothing happened.
It was half the episode. Literally half of the episode was about. It was about what's his name? Suijin trying to pay for a meal with his in-game dollars or whatever.
Oh my god!
That was half the episode was just him and Farron eating lunch
and
trying to pay for it,
and all the pedos
and all the pedos trying to hit on Farron.
God, yeah. Like,
which I don't blame her for. Farron is like the best girl in the game in this whole series. She's single-handedly saving this whole fucking franchise right now. She's carrying it. But
oh my god, like the unnecessary. First of all, can you talk about the unnecessary animation when they when they tried to process the transaction, and it's like you see like all this swirling green, like I'm like
that was their budget for the episode.
I'm like, hello, like people have that technology today on their phones, or they can pay with their phone.
Pay with their phone.
And notice how it's not like this sparkling like beam of green light, like hello.
The best part was the tense moment between, like, you see him paying for it, and he's like, oh my god, is this gonna work? And
I'm like, we know it's going to work. Like, or if it's not going to work, then don't let it work. Don't have us be like, oh, is it gonna work? When we know he has all that money. We know this. This is a fact. Like, why would you make that moment all suspenseful if it wasn't going to, like...
pay off.
Oh my god, thank you for finishing my thought. Oh, so stupid. So stupid. How's that half of the episode? It wasn't even that entertaining. Oh, Lord. And then they finally, halfway through the episode, decide to actually go into the virtual world. And... I don't know, they end up going to, like, the 18th floor. But before that, of course, they have another scene of them eating.
You can never have too many eating scenes together.
Another eating scene, followed by, fucking... I will say that scene was kind of amusing, where he thought he was, like, found out as, like, a billion
dollar player, yeah.
$1 billion player, and then he was, everyone was like, get the fuck out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
That was slightly amusing, but other than that...
Excuse me.
Other than that, all they did after that was get transported to the world. The fighting started. And it just ended.
Yeah, it started like 19 minutes into the episode and it ends at like 21 minutes. But to me, I was fine with it for two reasons.
Horrible fucking pacing.
Two reasons I was fine with it.
Because one, it's a bad show.
One, it was Farron, and Farron's carrying the shit out of the show, and every time she's on the screen is the best time the show's ever had. And two, there was this new girl at the end who looked really cute as well. And that's pretty much the end of my reasons for liking this episode. But the action was shit. The last... I have no idea what the fuck is going on. They're
fighting a boss so they can go into stage 0.
But why is Dark Tiger there? Also, that's my third reason, because Dark Tiger is there. He's a really dope-ass villain. So... I don't know what he does.
How so? He literally doesn't have any lines. He looks cool.
He looks cool, and his name is Dark Tiger. I don't have any high expectations for this show. So if they
Dark Tiger-sama,
and give him really cool ass armor, that's points in my book. This is not a very high standard.
Oh my god! Like, it's such bad pacing. Like, I literally just felt like I just wasted my time watching that thing. Which would have been okay if this was like 5 minutes. They literally could have condensed all that into 5 minutes. They actually could have. This
episode could have literally been condensed into 5 or 6 minutes or something. It's hilarious.
I'm like so beside myself. Like, as the first time I've actually been this angry about any episode.
So this is the new Osama game, but except we're gonna go back and forth. Like, watch next week. You're just gonna be like, oh,
I know, I'm gonna like it again because it's gonna have action and stupid shit happening. I'm like, okay,
and then
fine.
I'm gonna be like, there was no Farron. There was no new girl. The fuck is this shit? 23 minutes of garbage. Anything else you want to get off your chest about this episode?
It was whack. Like, I just did not like it. My head fucking hurts. I'm just getting so angry about everything.
Welcome to Osama game now.
No, I'm just mad about, like, half the shit that happened this week. I'm mad at Momo. I'm mad at Shogi. I'm mad at this whole fucking series.
It's fun. And we would now be covering Fate Last Encore, but we will be saving that for next week because for you guys who did not hear our announcement, we will be live watching that with all of our patrons and contributors. So if you are a patron or contributor, and your name is on the screen right now, because all patrons and contributors have their name on the screen right now, so shout out to them. If you are a patron or contributor...
Oh, wow.
Nice segue. If you are a patron or contributor, we are doing a live watch of Fate Extra Last Encore this Friday, February 2nd? Let me pull up my calendar. Yep, February 2nd at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be doing a second live watch of it Sunday morning or Sunday early afternoon, 12:30 p.m. Eastern.
I will not be there for the Friday one because my nephew's birthday is that day, but I will be joining everyone for the one on Sunday.
Yes, so we'll be watching it then, and then we'll be covering the first episode on next week's podcast. So if you're a patron, join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Wow.
And hit us up on the Discord.
Well, intense sentences aside, God, I was still reeling from that one. You sound like that guy in like a pharmacy commercial.
Side effects include
death, diarrhea, embolism, possible Ebola, and more death. But yeah, this is a very, like I said, very intense week. A week of strong debates. I hope you guys enjoyed us talking about it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I hope you enjoy watching it with us next week.
Yes.
And do you have any last words for us?
Nope. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, so if you did like it, because I definitely was about to end it without saying this, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out our Twitter for updates. Check out our Discord. It's diggity dope. And if you want to go that extra mile, by all means, join Patreon. Join Patreon. I'm sorry. I'm literally, like, my brain is fried from just being so angry. Yeah, I'm so tilted right now. But don't let my tilting stop you. Especially if you want to go the extra mile and join us on Patreon. And with that, we are finally going to get the HE double hockey sticks out of here. This has been the G&A podcast. Once again, I am Ryuuou, and this is
Soberoni,
and we are out this bitch. Bye.
Later.